So today my presentation will speak about the role of civil society in fighting climate change, but we have first to understand a little bit about climate change. So I will speak about what is the climate change, and then climate change and civil society challenges, and role of civil society and NGOs. So there's a famous joke. One guy said when someone asked him what is the difference between weather and climate, he said, you cannot weather a tree, but you can climb it. So many people, they're confusing between weather and the climate change. So what is the real difference between both? That weather is the day-to-day variation. So today is hot, tomorrow is getting cold. So day-to-day atmosphere condition. But the climate is established pattern of weather over a long time period. And there is a scientific definition for the climate change. They said it's the average weather for a particular region and time period. Usually it is time period between 20 and 30 years. So now we speak about weather, the temperature, rainy, cloudy, but climate, it's long time average. So let's have a look for the Earth, and the energy came from the sun to warm our lovely Earth, and again that some of this energy radiates from the Earth's surface to the orbit, but this is without greenhouse gases. But look, if we have greenhouse gases accumulated in our atmosphere, some of this energy will absorbed by greenhouse gases, and the greenhouse gases work like blanket from the Earth. So the energy stored in the Earth.
Carbon monoxide is an invisible gas, and it's poisonous, so we put ear-splitting alarms in houses to warn us of its dangerous presence.
Carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are also invisible gases.
But without unignorable alarms in place, they've been allowed to cause rapid and dangerous changes to the climate, oceans, and ecosystems on Earth.
Here's what that looks like for us, the Minute Earth team, where we live around the world.
I'm Henry, and in the dry Rocky Mountains, drought and wildfires are becoming more frequent and more dangerous, so we're spending far more resources to protect our businesses and homes, and then far more days inside them each summer because the smoke is too thick to safely go outside.
I'm Kate, and those same droughts in the Rockies mean that less water makes its way down the Colorado River, causing Lake Mead, which supplies water to me and 20 million other people, to drop to record low levels.
I'm Ever, and here in Venezuela, droughts also threaten the Guri Reservoir and all the hydroelectric plants that depend on it, putting more than 60% of our electricity generation at risk.
Some of these experiences might sound familiar to you.
Or perhaps you have your own story about what climate change looks like where you live.
The question is, how big will we let those impacts become? If
people suffering from climate change really around the world now, and this small graph show us NASA recorded a bit like simulation about the long-term warming trend. So as you can see here, from 1880 to 2015, the world image totally changed. But we don't feel that because suddenly, like domino effect, suddenly you have huge and severe events. So this is a little bit technical, but we can like make it simple why we use temperature as a climate change benchmark or measures, because it's easy for people. Climate change scientifically is complicated, and that's why like when we speak to people, we have to use something simple to give them like a good image about the climate change. So the previous video speaks already about the climate change effects, storms, droughts, tsunamis, and even floods, but also we speak about sustainable development. I believe all my friends will put something about sustainable development. Our ambassador here speak about sustainable development, but we set great goals, but climate change threat will like destroy all these goals if we couldn't move fast. So there is many progress around the world and many steps going ahead to combating climate change, but the problem is not enough, and we should going faster. Because if we didn't go faster, we will reduce and limit our choices, okay? And it's gonna be more costly and harder to cope with. This is like some challenging facing sustainable development goals because of climate change. We don't have enough time to speak about all of them, but let's have a small video will explain more about that sustainable development challenge.
In 2015, world leaders agreed on 17 goals for a better world by 2030. Climate change is a threat to the achievement of all the goals and to all of us. Global Goal 13 is about taking urgent action to combat climate change. It's about strengthening resilience to disasters and building capacity. Many communities are vulnerable to extreme changes in their environment. Without urgent action, the consequences of climate change could push an additional 100 million people into poverty by 2030. In Cambodia, the livelihood of millions of people is dependent on natural resources such as fish, forest, and land. Together with our partners, we work to strengthen resilience in local communities by building capacity to protect and manage natural resources in a sustainable way, enabling more people to adapt to environmental changes and take charge of their own future. Together we, the civil society, make change happen.
So together we will make change happen. So what is the role of civil society in combating climate change? It's too much story to speak about it, but I will focus about some of them. One of the most important issues here is international climate change negotiation, like Paris Agreement, Kyoto Protocol. So NGOs have developed the scientific expertise and lobbying skills that allow them to effectively participate in that negotiation. Even when they were setting the 2-degree goal, NGOs were fighting to set 1.5 degree, not 2. Also, making awareness program. Now, I think some of you have heard, just know some new information about climate change. So, when we speak about someone and ask him to reduce his energy consumption and manage his natural resources, you have to explain for him why you should do it. So, if he couldn't understand climate change problem, he will not do anything to combating its climate change. So, promoting renewable energy from NGOs is very important because government and maybe like industrial organization, they have the energy transition from the conventional energy like coal and fossil fuels. That's the main reason of climate change. So they can like transition from that conventional energy to renewable energy. But what about individuals in our homes, in our small business? So NGOs could help in this to like support individuals and small organization to change from the conventional energy to renewable energy resources. Okay, what about adopting climate change? As we said, there is many steps could be going further to combating climate change, but NGOs in this issue could help in, for example, if Korea, as Pastor Chong said, we give like fund for some countries to build renewable energy and many waste recovery systems and such projects. But for the individuals and small-scale business, the NGOs encourage those people and distribute that fund for the small-scale system. Because government will not be able to go for everyone individually and ask him to support. So NGOs, they know already which one should be receive that fund. Assessing environmental impact. I will explain that point simply. For example, if we have like 2 hotels, you are traveling and now you are booking your hotels. One of them environmentally friendly, like green, using renewable energy, using less electricity for rooms, for air conditioning. But the other one, totally forget about that, is normal using, and they have like benchmark the energy used for meter square or for one product. So NGOs now working, evaluating products, evaluating services in terms of climate change problems and energy consumption. And they ranking this product and these services according to that benchmark and promote that for people. So when you go to book your hotel, they will like tell you, okay, book that hotel. They're using less energy and they emit less emission. So NGOs now working in many countries to have like green card for many, like that green card you see it in like our home appliances. The same for services and goods. So conclusion, increase the collaboration between civil societies, international governmental organizations, and private sector may maximize the benefits of combating climate change and promoting sustainability. And apply the financial resources of governments and the private sector in effective partnership with these non-governmental efforts in order to expand their scale and replicate them